Hello, I'm Gary Baumgarten. Many of you know me as Reporter Gary, and I am here to ask you two questions because there are two stories in the news that I do not understand. And I need it explained to me, or I need them explained to me, and I'm hoping that maybe you can help me. Comments below with your answers, please. The first one has to do with the story that just broke overnight. Now, I have the story in front of me, and so I want to read it to you. This is from the Associated Press that conducted an investigation. It says nearly 1,700 priests that the Roman Catholic considers credibly accused of sexual abuse are living under the radar with little to no oversight from religious authorities or law enforcement. They are priests, deacons, monks, and lay people. Now get this. They now teach middle school math. They counsel survivors of, believe it or not, sexual assault. They work as nurses and volunteers at nonprofits aimed at helping at-risk kids. They live next to playgrounds and daycare centers. They foster and care for children. And in their time since leaving the church, dozens have committed crimes, including sexual assault and possessing child pornography, the AP analysis found. Now, my question is, how is this even possible? With this scandal hitting the Catholic Church, and by the way, I don't mean to just pick on the Catholic Church, but this story happens to be about the Catholic Church. We hear stories almost every day about abuse by people who have close proximity to children, who have responsibility over children, whether they are coaches or music teachers or teachers in schools or Boy Scout or Girl Scout leaders, whatever it might be, or members of other churches, clergy from other churches and religious institutions, rabbis, ministers. But obviously, the mother lode of all this is the Catholic Church. It's a huge scandal. It's something that the church covered up for many years and then decided reconciliation. Let's confront this. Let's acknowledge. Let's move forward. Let's ensure that it never happens again. Under that microscopic view, the whole world watching, how is it possible that 1,700 former, and by the way, I use the term former in quotations because many of them have been reassigned as clergy members, not necessarily in the United States, according to this AP analysis. How is it possible that they managed to live, as the story goes, under the radar and continue to hold jobs that put them in this kind of close proximity with children? The same opportunities they had that allowed for them to become the sexual predators who abused children that got them into trouble in the first place. I don't know if this is the fault of the civil authorities. I don't know if this is the fault of the Catholic Church. I'm not exactly sure. And maybe this question is rhetorical, but maybe for some of you it isn't rhetorical. Maybe some of you can actually answer my question. How is it possible that this continues? That's question number one. Question number two, unrelated story. Remember the terrible shooting in Las Vegas where this guy, he was a guest at the MGM Resort, and there was a country western festival going on, country music festival going on, and he had a room that overlooked the festival, and he shot so many people. Many of them died. I think it's the worst mass shooting in the history of the United States. Horrible, horrible situation. And to this day, they still don't know, because he's dead, what his motive was. Yesterday, there was a settlement with MGM Resorts, $800 million. Look, I know there's always this issue of liability. I understand that people want to be made whole. I don't know how really, after a circumstance like this, you can be made whole. But what I don't understand is how is it that the hotel is responsible for the actions of the guest? Now, it has been suggested to me that, hey, he was able to bring up these big bags filled with weapons and ammunition undetected, and perhaps they had a responsibility to catch that. Well, I don't know. You know, generally when I check into a hotel, I carry bags with me. And when I was on the road for CNN Radio, for example, I had lots of equipment that I carried to my room. In fact, so much that I needed help schlepping it through the airports. I needed help bringing it up to the room, a lot of stuff. And of course, it was just audio equipment and editing equipment and transmitting equipment. But they didn't know that. They didn't know what was in the bags. Don't I, as a guest, have an expectation, a reasonable expectation of privacy, that the hotel's not going to go through my stuff because it could be a weapon or weapons and ammunition? I don't understand how the hotel is responsible for the actions of the guest. Somebody watching, I'm sure, knows the answer to that question as well. And again, I'd love your questions at the bottom of this YouTube video. Once again, I encourage you to subscribe, hit the alarm button so that you're notified the next time I join you for one of these chats. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hate it, you can give it a thumbs down. That's your right. And until next time, peace out.